And now that I've given it some time for this update to marinate in my brain, kind of getting used to the whole new layout and how everything has been working on this new campus from now on, I feel like I'm starting to like it a lot more.
Said no one ever.
I'm coming back to talk about my in-depth thought. The first video was basically my first impressions of it, and obviously you guys kind of heard my thoughts on the whole new campus or this title update and how I currently feel about it. And now that I've actually kind of sat down and played it for a couple of days now, I really am not liking it. I thought genuinely it was just me. It was just a me problem, that it was just something that I had to eventually to get used to. And yes, that's true, but I thought that I would eventually like it just as much as the old Campus 4. Truth of the matter is, I don't. And obviously, I've been hearing mixed reviews. Some people appreciate it and some people don't. Obviously, the reason why they're doing this in the first place is to help lag reduction. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, well,
this isn't really going to fix anything. People are going to have lag.
In any game that you play, whether it's a low quality game or a high quality game, or if you have the best running PC or the best running phone, there's going to have some little lag spikes here and there. That is common within a game, but it's the fact that Royal High quite literally made a whole campus into half of what it used to be, and now it doesn't feel like a campus. It feels like part of an apartment, or it feels like part of the school, which it is. It is a part of a school. It's not even the full school. It's quite literally half, probably even less than half of the school. And obviously I know why they did it, but it's like, I know Barbie wants to be kind of like this people pleaser in a sense where she wants to be able to have everyone enjoy the game without any lags, but girl, that's just impossible. Like, you're gonna have lags. And obviously some people have said that even with this new update, they still have some lag spike. Even on the best running PCs or the best running phones, tablets, whatever gaming device that they're using to play the game on, they still have a little bit of lag spikes here and there. I personally haven't experienced it, but a lot of people have said that they still, despite this campus trying to reduce that, still get lag, if not more so. Crazy. And it's the fact that they made this campus way smaller and it feels like less details were put into it. Like, at least with the old Campus 4, and I'm going to say Campus 4.2 because that's basically what it is. Campus 4.2 was a lot more bigger. Everywhere had a spot. You knew exactly where your classes were. You weren't constantly trying to figure out like, hey, where the heck am I supposed to go? You know, you can go to the bathroom whenever you feel like it. You can go to class whenever you feel like it. You don't necessarily have to worry about trying to find the exact class. And that's also part of the reason why I think they got rid of that homework turning in quest thing, because you quite literally cannot find your classes, which is really irritating me in the worst way possible. The only thing I feel like I truly like about this update, though, to be completely honest, is the amount of diamonds we're getting. I feel like just being able to interact with the world, like I spoke about in my last video, like sliding down the slide, playing the piano, sitting on the lounge chairs, drinking the water fountain, etc., gives you XP diamonds to level up. And that's basically the only thing I can really say that I enjoy about this update. Now, I feel like every update that Royal High has had coming up to this point haven't been my complete favorite, but I feel like this has to be the all-time worst update for me, in my personal opinion. I know some people are going to be like, this is the greatest thing in the world. Well, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. I really just want to go in depth and kind of hear your guys' opinions as well, kind of see how everybody's feeling about the whole update, because I know I'm not alone when I say this. Like, everything is cramped. It is. Everything feels so squished. Everything feels so much smaller that you can't have the opportunity to go to whatever class you want to go to. You can't go to the bathroom unless it's during the get ready for school montage. That's the only time you'll get to go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, do whatever you got to do. Otherwise, for the rest of the day, you can't go to the bathroom. Even the locker spaces are smaller. Like, it doesn't feel like a campus. It doesn't feel like a school. It doesn't feel like what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be be royal high, not apartment high. You know, this is like an apartment that we're living in, or like some sort of like New York suit in a way. It's not giving school. I don't know. It's really just, and I know a lot of people feel this way, it's really just not my personal cup of tea. Now, there is some good qualities and aspects to having the campus a lot smaller than what it used to be. I feel like it's a lot easier to get to certain places. You don't have to fly to 3 different stories to find a water fountain or a vending machine or something like that. But they did take a lot of aspects away from Campus 4.2 that I really, really liked, like the whole pool area, like the whole water area. That was my favorite part of Campus 4.2. I love that water. And people are going to say, oh, that water area caused them some lag and stuff. But I personally liked it. I don't know why. Like, I just love that whole seashell beach vibe that they were going for. It was very cute. It was aesthetically pleasing to me. And maybe it caused lag, but it was just a pretty thing to look at. I don't know. I loved like the swings in that area, the beach chairs, the lounge chairs. It really did feel like an actual campus. And then obviously you have your classes, your math classes, your archery, and all of those classes. And I was genuinely getting used to Campus 4.2 before they decided to update it to 4.3. And it's like, this has to be the worst, in my personal opinion, the worst campus of Royal High. I don't know, like, it's still a beautiful campus, but at what cost? It's so much, comparing it to all like the older campuses like Campus 3, Campus 2, Campus 1, this is by far the most smallest campus that we were ever given. And like the past campuses like Campus 1, Campus 2, yeah, they lacked detail and they didn't have a lot of pretty things that made it a Royal High campus, but it still was able to run, it was still able to function. You could find your classes. Nothing felt cramped. You didn't feel forced to go to your classes. You can go to your classes if you want to get XP. And it's just like, why? I really do miss the campus. I really do miss Campus 4.2. I wish there was a way where you can still go visit Campus 4.2, just like you can visit Campus 3. And then for people who have like lag spikes and stuff like that, can go to this Campus 4.3 to reduce lag for them. But we can still keep our Campus 4.2, because to get rid of that whole campus that took Barbie months to work on, to basically downsize it to this, like, I feel like that was just such a waste, especially since we will never see it again. I don't think she's going to bring it back, which is really unfortunate for me. I'm trying to get used to this new campus and I just can't. I keep saying campus, but it's not a campus. This is not what a campus is supposed to look like. Like, if you look at a college campus or a university, they are big, okay? They may look small on the outside, but they are big. You have your cafeteria. Our cafeteria in Campus 4.3 is like this small little beeline to the outside, and that's basically it. It doesn't feel like a cafeteria anymore. Not that it really felt like a cafeteria to begin with, but we had space to sit inside the cafeteria. But I digress. And then you have the library, which has been downsized tremendously. You had this big library in Campus 4.2 with all like the different classes. You had potion class. I think you also had like science class or something like that. And you also had study hall. Like, I really loved that big open concept of a library, and like the little stars that would go up like elevators. Like, why? I feel like that whole campus has just been thrown away for absolutely no reason. And it's just like, it's making me a little angry, because I really wish we could have that campus back. Okay. And obviously I spoke about having mixed reviews. People are saying that it's a good thing, and some people are saying that it's not. Well, I do believe, of course, there's some good things about it. There's also a lot of negatives for me personally. I really do feel like Barbie needs to just take a moment to realize that she can't please everyone, that she can't fix everyone's devices. Sometimes it's gonna be laggy, babe. It's just gonna be laggy. There's only so much you can do to prevent lag in a game. But even games with like Minecraft, The Sims, even if you don't have mods or Reshade or anything like that, G-Shade, in almost every game that I've played, there's always gonna have a little bit of lag spikes. There's always gonna have a little bit of moments where it's going to stop, stutter, whatever. Even with the best PC, sometimes it lags, babes. It happens. And I just feel like for you to throw away that whole campus just because of that is kind of ridiculous to me. And especially for a campus that's been downsized tremendously just to help with that. And I think it only made it worse for some players. Now, I feel like I said before, I wouldn't have been as upset if she did keep the old campus 4.2 and then had like campus 4.3 as an alternative for people who obviously need less. But it truly is annoying that that whole thing had to be thrown away in a sense. And on my last video, I definitely saw some people's comments and reading some people's thoughts about it and how they were feeling. And a lot of us can agree that this was the worst kind of update for campus. I don't even know if you call this an update. Like, I just feel like this is a filler update. This is a filler patch, an update that nobody asked for, an update that really didn't need to be a thing. Like, I feel like she could have taken campus 4.2 and like gotten rid of some details, like the option to remove decorations outside of dorms, because some people be doing a little bit too much with their dorms. And hey, you want to show your dorms to other people and be like, hey, this is what I did with my dorm, and it's a cool idea, but there should be a limit to how much stuff you can put outside your dorms, because again, that does cause lag for some people, because some dorms quite literally lag out the entire server, or some dorm rooms lag out the entire server. So it's probably best to like remove that option to have stuff outside your dorms and to have a limit of what stuff can be on or in your dorm rooms. Same with like outfits. There's certain outfits in the game that has a lot of little bits and pieces and details, and I know a lot of people like to layer their clothes, layer their shoes, layer their accessories, and it gets a little bit too much. So there has to be like a limit to how much items can be placed on your character, so that way it doesn't lag out other people. I mean, I just feel like that's common courtesy. Those are just a few ideas of what Barbie could have done instead of making this whole new campus for absolutely no reason. And on top of that, again, this is just a filler update. There was no new sets, no new game mechanic, no new event to do. It was just a new campus. That's pretty much it, with a little features about the new campus. And again, this was something that I don't think anybody asked for, really. I don't think anybody asked, oh, let's make this campus half its size. I don't think anybody asked for that, but okay. I was kind of hoping for like a new set, maybe something to do in the game, but no, we get a smaller campus. And I'm not trying to sound ungrateful or hateful to the developers or Barbie herself. It's just I am a little frustrated and irritated that this is what it's reduced to. I really do feel like all of that work has been thrown away, because like it's not like we can go back to that campus. We are literally stuck in this campus, you know? So it really does feel like all of that hard work put into campus 4.2 has been thrown in the drain. And even though it wasn't my work, I really do feel like people who did work on that campus felt like very proud of it. Like, ooh, we love this area, or we love this area. We love the library. We love the pool area. We love, you know, like the different areas of the school is what made it a campus. It's what's made it a school. And a lot of that has been either removed or downsized. And it's just really irritating to see. But all in all, as much as I have talked about this and ranted about this, I am going to go ahead and read some of everybody's thoughts on Reddit. I have a couple that I just wanted to go ahead and read and talk about and discuss, basically. This person said, yeah, it's annoying how we only have one way to farm. Like, can't we just have both? It seems like every time they change something for the better, or just in general, they have to remove something else, which is obviously something I talked about already, with them having to either downsize or just completely remove it altogether. And even when they try to fix one problem, it causes another, which is, I feel like that's something that really needs to discuss. And honestly, it reminds me of a very similar game that I play called The Sims 4, where they try to fix all of these bugs and glitches just for them to create new ones in a way. So you're fixing old broken glitches and bugs just to have have more bugs and glitches happen in the future? And how do you break and fix something at the same time? Two things can be true at once. This person said, what the actual, we should still be able to get diamonds from leveling up. This is the update I have seen in history of Royal High, and I'm this close to quitting as well. I have multipliers, but I literally just did an entire school project on how to farm in this game, and Barbie's basically changing the entire way I farm. God, I hate this game sometimes. Honestly, I get it. I feel like some people are really just letting out their frustration and anger out on Barbie and the developers, and on one hand, I get it. As a player, it's really frustrating to see all that hard work go down the drain just for something that quite literally nobody asked for. And a lot of people's farming routines for diamonds and leveling up has changed tremendously because of this new update that, again, I don't think anybody really asked for. And I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but it is really irritating that this had to happen this way, as if there was no other way that could be able to reduce lag. And I feel like that's kind of Barbie's main priority right now. She's not really focused on trying to make this game enjoyable. She just wants to make it playable, in which I get, but at the same time, no one's gonna play something when there's nothing in there to play. So you're trying to make the game somewhat manageable and playable for players that don't have the best PC specs or the best graphics, but when there's nothing actually content related in the game, it's like, what am I actually playing, you know? So obviously I get a lot of people's anger and frustration, but some people are literally going on a rampage about this, and it's like, it really isn't that serious, to me at least, for me to crash out and completely lose my mind over it. This person says, they say they're changing it because we don't want people to just be focused on farming, we want to roleplay too, but it's their fault for driving their game into that situation. I also agree with that as well. Obviously, I've always spoke about how Royal High used to be a role-playing game. It was a role-playing game first, before a farming game, before whatever the heck it's turned into now. It used to be a role-playing game. And as of right now, it really does feel like we're being forced to roleplay, especially since they introduced that whole automatic teleportation to your classes and stuff like that. You don't really have a choice if you want to teleport to that class or not. Unless you're in weekend mode, you're forced into those classes, you're forced into certain areas, and it's like you don't have a choice otherwise. And like, obviously, once you get teleported, you can leave, but that's not the point. It's the sheer fact that you were teleported there in the first place against your will. And it's the fact that they want to introduce role-playing and stuff like that back into the game by adding like these interactive objects that you can do within the small campus. But it really feels like if you're in the middle of a storytelling moment or something like that, and you're playing in the regular campus, and then all of a sudden you get teleported to a class, and it's just like, well, that ruins the whole vibe, and that ruins the whole immersion of role playing. You can't really pick what class you want to go into because there is no classes to go into. This person says, I swear, every update I see doesn't make sense. Do these people even play their own game? They need to at least compensate everyone who bought the flight speed and gem multipliers, and probably more, who got completely ripped off. I used to play another game with owners who obviously made every decision out of pure greed, exactly like this. It went from highly populated and active to dead within only a few years. Even though it had tons of people rooting for it and waiting for a change, they didn't play because the obvious owners made it literally unplayable. Now it's too late and 0 people are left. Royal High is slowly but surely. And you know what? I truly thought when Campus 4.2 first came out, I was obviously in shock, but I really thought that this was going to be the turning point for Royal High. I thought that this was going to be the moment for Royal High to finally get back up on its feet, just for it to take 3 steps forward and take 4 steps back. It's like, what's really going on here? I thought Campus 4.2 was going to be the moment where Royal High can finally get back on its feet, finally being known as the quote-unquote role-playing game that it used to be, finally enticing new players to play. But now it truly feels like they've taken all of these steps for Campus 4.2 just to go back a whole bunch of steps for Campus 4.3. And it's really sad to see, because I don't really know how else they can come back from this. I don't really know if they can come back for this. The only way I see this ever working out is if they A, go back to Campus 4.2 or try to make Campus 4.3 kind of similar to 4.2, but in a small, crunched up way. I don't know how to explain it. It really is just such a sad thing to see this game finally kind of lifting off just to fall back off again. This person says, my thing is that they said we want to support all playstyles, while also saying that they changed it because they were mad so many people didn't want to roleplay and do classes. In what world is that a valid fix? This person said, this is awful. I purchased the multipliers not too long ago and this is me off. What the heck is being multiplied then? Honestly, same. I get it. I feel like the multipliers and the whole passes all in general don't even mean anything anymore, because it's just like, what's actually being multiplied? What's actually being doubled here? I don't get it, but okay. This person says, I will be real, without the multipliers, the update is not it. I love the idea, but the stuff nerf plus removed was not needed in the slightest. This person says, I have both multipliers. This seems like a ridiculously high nerf. Why am I making so much less? I feel like I can't really relate to that comment personally, because farming in general has died when 4.2 came out. I really stopped farming for diamonds. I rarely care. As you guys can currently see, I don't have a lot of diamonds as it is, and I refuse to spend 5 to 6 hours of my day farming and sitting on this game for hours on end. I just refuse to do it. Like, farming died for me a long time ago, so I no longer care how much diamonds I get or how many times I level up in a day or how many diamonds I collect in a school day, because it's just like I don't care. I really don't care at this point. Like, I feel like every time the school updates, the less and less likely is they're actually able to have an actual farming routine, because everybody's farming routines are constantly being changed, nerfed, and even removed, because it's just like, how are we supposed to farm for diamonds or farm for these expensively expensive outfits when we can't even have a regular farming routine? So it's just like, farming for me personally has died out a long time ago. This person says, I swear to God, if they don't revoke this awful update after seeing everyone hate it, I'm over this game. Which, completely valid and understandable to feel that way. This person says, is it possible to contact Barbie, other devs? Will she even care? I feel like we have to try and fight harder about this garbage the dev crew keeps doing with the game. I'm not saying attack and stuff, by the way. I'm just saying to express that we don't like this new update and are becoming frustrated with decreasing ways to get currency. Honestly, same. I feel like I've already said before how people need to express their feelings in a more respectful and kind manner. You have people who are straight up being mean, bullies, cyberbullying, attacking, threatening the developers and Barbie herself. And it's like, in what world is anybody going to reciprocate or even listen to someone who is constantly berating them and bullying them and making them feel less than? It's really just like, no one's going to listen to that kind of person. But I personally, if I was a developer, would listen to a person who gives obvious constructive criticism, but in a kind and respectful manner, because we are human. We are not dogs. We are not cats. We are not horses. We are not wild animals that can't control our behavior. We are humans. Let's act like one. Let's act like respectable humans like we are. It's one thing to be angry and frustrated, as you rightfully are so, but it's another to be very rude and disrespectful, because at the end of the day, these are still people too. They don't have to fix this game if they don't want to. This is their game. At the end of the day, if you don't like it, you don't have to play it. That's just part of having free will. But for you to sit up here sending death notes, threats, and stuff like that isn't going to get anybody to quote unquote listen to you or make any changes in the game, the kind of changes that you want, at least not to me. This person says, as someone who's been playing since 2017 consistently, this actually makes me so mad and kind of want to leave. I'm hoping they'll realize this and isn't good for anyone, and not everyone wants to roleplay all the time. I really hope they change it back, but if not, they're going to lose a lot of fans. Completely agree on this one as well. I feel like I started playing this game. I feel like I've had this account since 2017, but I started actively playing in like 2018 because I did kind of take like a hiatus or a break or whatever you want to call it, because I just got so sick and tired of this game. But I digress. I feel like as someone who's been playing since 2018, before COVID and everything happened, seeing what it's turned into now definitely is making me very angry and frustrated with the developers and Barbie herself, because it's obvious people are not happy. And I feel like this will be like the final straw or the push that the developers need to see this, to say like, hey, this needs to change. Like, we need the old campus back. Like, I'm willing to take campus 4.2, okay? But I cannot for the life of me get with this whole campus 0.3 mess. I can't deal with how tiny it is, how everything is so cramped together. I can't take it. And I feel like this really is going to be the final push that the community is going to give to Barbie and the developers to fix this immediately. Like, nobody, or at least as far as I've seen, nobody really likes this new update. It's no longer giving Royal High. And like what this person said, not everybody wants to roleplay, not everybody wants to farm. So there should be an option between roleplaying, farming, or just chilling and relaxing. Nothing wrong with just chilling and relaxing, honestly, in the game. I do it all the time and I have no problem doing it. Maybe you just want to listen to the background music and just relax with your friends, maybe have a little chit chat in the garden or something like that. But again, nobody wants to always roleplay. Yes, it is a primarily role-playing game, but not everybody has to roleplay. Even back when Royal High was just like a Winx adaptation, there was options to be a fairy or human and just do your own thing. You didn't have to roleplay, but you could. It was an option. But now it feels like we're forced to engage with this world that nobody asked for. This person says, I wasn't aware of the update when I was teleported all of a sudden while farming, and I got confused. I had to go back doing my tasks just to get dragged away again. I asked in the chat and they told me to go into creative mode. So I joined, and let me tell you, I couldn't even take 2 straight steps because of how laggy it was. I have pretty good Wi-Fi. It was lagging because there was way too many players joining at once. It's literally unplayable. Honestly, I personally haven't tried joining into the weekend realm yet, and there probably is a lot of players and they're just trying to do their own thing, roleplay, farm, or whatever, because the non-weekend realm forces you to go into these classes when you're just trying to roleplay with your friends or you're just trying to farm. So I feel like a lot of people are bunched into that area. I don't know how many players are in there at once. This person says, I thought we can get diamonds from leveling up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they just made it so you get diamonds along the way, not all at once. This person said, nah, what the heck? I haven't played Royal High in ages, but removing diamond from leveling up is madness. What are the devs thinking? I'm 100% quitting now. This is ridiculous. This person says, I got the multipliers when they were cheap. What the heck do you mean they're 1k Robux now? Honestly, I don't know how much the multipliers used to cost before. When I got them, there was still the like beach realm with the apartments, and I think the summer fantasy set was still like pretty much new. I think that's when I first got the multipliers, which was like probably 2018, 2019 maybe. So I don't know how much they used to cost, but 1k Roblox bucks for just some multipliers is kind of crazy. This person said, today I went and downvoted the whole game and left a very unfiltered, rather harsh, but Barbie needs to hear harsh. Most people do in order to understand just how much they're off by other people. Feedback note. I advise y'all to do the same. Drop that like percentage and leave the mean notes to get your point across. Again, I don't think this is a good way to communicate or express your feelings about what you like or dislike about a game. Again, this is Barbie's game. She doesn't have to change it. Obviously, she's making money from it, from her dolls and everything else. So she doesn't necessarily have to change the game if she doesn't want to. But I do feel like if she wants to keep the player base at where it's at from going any lower than it's already at, I do feel like she needs to take the time to actually listen to what people are saying instead of taking it as hate, but taking as it with constructive criticism and being able to implement that in the game. Then and only then will people see that she's really listening to their player base. And the last one I'm going to read for today says, I get diamonds every time I level up, unless there's a new update today that has changed that. 1,800 diamonds to be exact every time I level up. So that is all of the Reddit post notes I'm going to read for today, and kind of gave my own thoughts and feedback on all of them. Obviously, people are not happy about this. Obviously, people who have stopped playing are getting more enraged hearing that Royal High has done this. And obviously people who are continuing to play are still very enraged and upset about this. Obviously, me included, I am really angry and frustrated, but I refuse to let that get the better of me, of this game and everything. If a game gets you that heated to the point where you want to leave death notes and threats to the developers and the creators of the game, then that really says a lot about you and your character, because at the end of the day, again, as always, it is just a game. It is their game. You are a person, you have free will. You don't have to play the game if you don't like the game. Simply just leave and move on with your life. It really isn't that big of a deal. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below your thoughts and opinions. And obviously these have just been mine. Let me know if you want me to do something similar to this about other things in the game, and I'll try to do something like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye everyone.